Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Queer Peer Reviews, where we review queer media good, bad, and ugly. I'm your host, Jamie, and today with me is my co-host, Bruce. And on today's episode, we are reviewing Arcane. And if you haven't yet watched Arcane or are not yet caught up on Season 2, this is a big spoiler alert.
Wow, it's been a minute since I've reviewed anything.
I know. Who are you? You look so different.
I got longer hair. But, Arcane. Now, I want to let the audience know I was the one pushing Jamie to watch this.
And I'm very glad you did.
Good. You're like the only one so far I managed to convince. But anyways, if those who have not seen Arcane, what are you doing? Second, Arcane. So, for those who haven't seen it, Arcane is basically a show based off the game League of Legends. And if you know a bit of League of Legends, honestly, some of their animated like music videos and all that have been pretty good. So they finally released. And people said like, oh, they should make a show because based off the animations they've dropped for their trailers. Which is funny because trailers are better than their games themselves. Oh, yeah. So they decided, oh, we should make a show. And they did. So under Netflix, they finally made a show called Arcane, following the basically, I guess, 4 of the main champions from the game, which is Jinx, Vi, Caitlyn, and Echo. I know there's others, but I'm thinking to myself there's other 4, and Jace too, so technically 5. But yeah, so there's a lot of characters in here. Otherwise, I'm like just gonna say, there are 10 characters. But we'll mention them as we go on.
Yeah,
but
this is one of those shows where they have like multiple storylines going on at the same time, and I definitely applaud them for being able to keep it like really well organized and not too overwhelming.
And they managed to like make it like show they cross paths easily, so it's not like oh, you just jumped in the storyline out of nowhere. Like no, they connect really well with each other.
So the show has 2 seasons. Season 1 is amazing. It has a really great setup for what happens in Season 2. We learn about all the backstories. We learn about Hextech and how Hextech is starting to evolve, and we start seeing that people are really interested in weaponizing Hextech and also trying to figure out how they can better people's lives. It's a lot of 2 sides trying to figure out how do we deal with Hextech and how do we stop it from getting into the wrong hands.
You know, I thought after season 2, season 1 felt more of a build up to the bigger climax of anything, because it was just, you know, Mbessa showing up, you know, the war in Piltover, and then I feel like the big like trigger to everything. Season 1 was obviously when Jinx blew that Hextech missile at the the council.
It's like the council, like the embassy or the council, yeah. That was intense.
And then that's like the biggest cliffhanger. Everybody was just like, what happens next?
And after that attack, we learn that Caitlyn's mom dies, and Caitlyn this is what kind of triggers her character to completely flip, and she kind of goes on this like rampage of wanting to kill Jinx.
I mean, it's understandable. I mean,
100%.
Just lost her mom, and I'm like, fucking. But I also appreciate that she's not completely mad at like, you know, at Vi for that. In fact, I think she like, there's a scene where she like basically cries in her arms. Like she stays strong throughout, which every person she meets, even her own father. But the moment she sees Vi, she just like collapses and jumps to her arm, which is also sad but very like sweet noticing.
And like season 2 is just, it really just goes from 0 to 100 really quick, but not in like a sloppy way. They really know how to build up the story to get like to like all the conflicts that happened. And personally, like they have 3 acts, like it's 9 episodes. I always feel like the end of Act 1 is always one of the strongest episodes of each season. Like in season 1, right? Yeah, season 1 we had like the backstory about Vi and her group, and how they almost all of them wind up dying, except for her and Jinx. Then in season 2, Jinx releases those like gas bombs, which basically ignites this revolution from the Undercity. I think one of the biggest things that I want to talk about season 2 is Jinx's character development. Because season 1, for my own personal reasons, I was not the biggest fan of Jinx, because she kind of reminded me of somebody in my personal life. But that's not the point. I know a lot of people like Jinx, but I actually didn't start liking her until season 2, where she met that little girl, and I think that's when her character started to, I guess, kind of turn a new leaf, because instead of being somebody that was always looked down upon, she started becoming somebody that people could look up to, and people started seeing her as a hero. Like in that scene where she freed all of her, like, all the rebels from the prison, and they all, like, kind of tapped her on the shoulder. I think that's when she started to reason, like, wow, my actions have consequences, and people actually look up to me, and I could do something and not be a jinx.
Even Savika brought that up to Jinx. He was like, yo, you're a symbol, so, act like it, even though she doesn't want to.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, and I believe also like Isha brought that out for her, the little girl. She brought that out, that kindness of her. And people are saying that someone say she's a better older sister than Vi.
I mean, in a way, I guess, yeah, definitely. But
I mean, what triggered Jinx's like entire mental collapse was when, as a kid, Vi told her that she was a Jinx, and
exactly.
And I feel like we're like scraping the good surface of the rest of this show, but I don't want to get too much into it because I want you guys to have a chance to watch this show and experience it yourself. Because the one thing too, the biggest one is the style of the animation. I love it, and they combine 3D and 2D together, and and I think the first season it took like years to make it. I think. Here's what I found out, right? It took 9 years to make the first season because I saw on TikTok the girl who voiced Powder, like little girl Powder. She was like 11 when she recorded, and then 9 years later she finally was at the premiere for the first season.
Oh wow!
Yeah, is that crazy?
God. I mean, I believe it too because it's like it feels like it's more than just something that's animated. It looks like actual people, like the way they move is so fluid.
And then they didn't use mocap at all. They used references. Which begs the question, who the fuck was the reference for episode 8? I've been really trying, baby. So, now, the reason why we're reviewing this on QPR Arcane is because of a relationship between two main characters we have, which is Vi and Caitlyn.
Oh yeah, and during season 1, it's definitely a slow burn. They do share some moments where you're like, oh man, like,
yeah,
they're gonna become
like the
a
bed
thing,
scene.
aren't they? Yeah, that was a really wholesome scene. I loved it. I really did think that they were gonna kiss, but it wasn't the time. The one episode, I believe it's also titled Oil and Water, or Water and Oil. Back, like, when Vi was kind of losing hope for everything, she called her, like, oil and water, like, we don't mix, and then Kate goes like, well, what about us? And then she repeats it again, like, oil and water, it wasn't meant to be. So you're like, oh no, don't give up yet, you're supposed to fall in love.
One of the earlier hints I remember is when they went to that brothel because Vi needed information, and so she was like, Vi just randomly put her with some random dude there, and then when she finally leaves on her way out, she notices like Caitlyn is actually in the room with another woman, and it's just like had a whole, like, I mean, you saw her face.
Oh yeah, she was happy. Yeah, and even before that too, she kind of had like that classic move where like they have their arm up against the wall and they're like against the wall. There was some gay panic in there from Kate, you could tell.
I saw that. So yeah, and then everything finally reached that point. Then we finally got the kiss on episode 3.
Yeah, that was amazing. It was long awaited. But then shortly after that,
and 25 minutes later, she had like she got to a whole emo stage.
Oh,
I mean, is that true? Is that a thing?
Kate went on this military rampage as the new general, I think.
Just situation and things like that just lead to different personalities and everything.
Yeah.
You can censor this out, right, if you want to, but everybody kept calling her Count Fagula because of the cape. Everybody kept calling her that.
I'm not censoring that one out.
But there's one quick character that everybody can all agree that we do not like is Maddie. Maddie, that bitch.
When she just popped up from the bed during that one scene, I was like,
no way.
I just knew I didn't like her. Yeah, unfortunately for me, it was very impossible to avoid spoilers. Like, I couldn't watch it as soon as it came out. I was still catching up. But it's like, I feel like the Arcane fans online, they just had no respect for the spoilers. Usually a lot of
Right,
fandoms
listen,
are like,
I was like, the
we
day
usually wait a couple days. But no, as soon as the episode dropped, it's like, look at Maddie's death scene.
I'm like, it hasn't even been like 20 minutes left. You guys like skimming through this shit?
Yeah.
But yeah, I wake up, I go on social media, like, by instinct, and then I see the hashtags and I immediately X. I'm like, all right, let me watch these episodes now. I can't have a.
I saw this meme where it's like, all the characters who are in heaven and all the characters who are in hell. I'm like, oh my god, like, I didn't know any of these characters were gonna die. And
oh my
a lot
god,
of them do die.
You guys need to like
chill.
We need to take like a day break for a second here. Like everybody just take a day to take into the show, and then the next day we just start saying shit. Fuck it,
Just process, man.
I can't even have a proper moment. I can't even like, oh, let me get food first. Let me get this. Like, no, I gotta watch it now. Because for the sake of me not getting spoiled, because I instinctively go on social media.
Let's move on to another set of characters who aren't actually queer, but a lot of people are
but they might as well
wow, that was very, they might as well have kissed at the end.
Jace and Victor.
Exactly. And before we get to that whole ending scene that everyone's kind of like, that was gay. That was very romantic. But they had a very big character like development too. Like they started off as like partners in science, trying to figure out hex tech and unlocking it, to becoming they were partners. Basically going from that to mechanical Jesus, and
it's like that meme where
hero.
It's like there was a lovely little caterpillar, 7 nuclear missiles. They even got that same episode too. They even broke up a relationship, and one became like gay Jesus.
Yeah, oh my god! Like Victor, as soon as he unlocked the true potential of hex tech, became Jesus. He cured people from death.
In the game, he's a mage, so
is he really?
I guess he's. But I don't know what the hell that was. That's an OP mage if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, and then like Jace was a character I really liked too. And then like that one episode where he comes back from like that hellscape he was in.
In hindsight, right? You think of like where Echo Heidinger was. They're all like in an altar chilling, and then fucking Jesus is going through it hard. Guys, I want you guys to comment. Which one was gayer? Episode 8 with Kate Vi, or whatever that was in the finale? Which between Jace and Victor, I want you to put that in the comment. I need to see something.
That was beautiful.
It was. Damn, the artist went crazy with that one.
A lot of people were like, yo, they should have kissed at the end.
That would have been like everyone was. I'm looking at my screen too. I'm like, are they gonna?
That was more romantic than anything Jace and Mel ever had.
Oh my god! That overshadowed so much. I forgot about Jace and Mel. Actually, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I feel like Mel too is one of those characters who like I loved significantly more in season 2. Like in season 1, I like, not that I didn't not like her. She kind of seemed like a side character to me. But then in season 2, it's like unlocking her full potential, realizing who she really is, and just that was great.
Now, there's another character there that was confirmed by writers. It wasn't shown as well, but you might have seen it. Ambessa, she's kind of bi, but her preference and like what type of men and women she likes is crazy. People say that she likes the twink men and she likes the buff ladies, because there was a scene where she noticed Savika, and the writers confirmed like that's her type.
Damn.
Yeah.
We love the big boss ladies.
But like I was saying, I want to get back to the animation part of it all, and the way they do these is like amazing. So, like, I want to see the process, the sequence when Heimdallr, Jace, and Echo were in that like weird ass trippy scene. Like, when they started like exploding, and like I want to know how that process went. And another good one I love seeing, it was like a 2D. I think they traced over a 3D animation of it, but they made it 2D. Was the Isha's last moments before she did that sacrifice? Like, I mean, that was like you could see it was 2D, but obviously traced over 3D. But it was like so beautifully done.
Yeah, I really liked in that episode where they realized like that beast is Vander, and
yes, the watercolor.
It's like watercolor. It was really that was beautiful. And I think there's another episode where they do like charcoal, like sketches too. I forget what episode it is, but I remember seeing it.
Yeah, it's like what medium do you want to include? And like, yeah.
All of them. Yes.
Yes.
And I think I read that this, not only is it Netflix's, but like I think in general the most expensive animated show like of all
Oh,
time.
100%. But I would hope, like, just like with Across the Spider-Verse did, this is gonna give more creative ideas for future shows. Because the thing is too, best part, this is not the end of like League of Legends shows. There's now gonna be spin-offs happening.
I heard there's gonna be at least 3.
There's gonna be 3 spin-offs. So it's not gonna be the end of this art style. We're gonna see more. And if anything, because if it's gonna be spin-offs, you might even see different art styles. Because it could be under a different like animator leads, because we're talking about 3 spin-offs here. So, but honestly, yeah, I can't wait for this. It still mind boggles me, because like I know in my mind they probably did 3D models and then they did like a texture map over, but at the same time I can't see it. Like I feel like, I don't know, like it's like they drawn 3D, like it doesn't feel like a skin map
like, how
over.
Did you do this?
Yeah, look at Heimdinger, right?
Yeah.
How does fur work?
textured.
Like they really did such a great job with the style and everything.
And like the backgrounds, like if you look at the backgrounds, they look like they're paintings.
But yeah, honestly, this whole show's just amazing. And if you guys, if you watch the review anyways and got spoiled, I mean, I still say you should watch the show anyways. It's
100%.
still worth it.
We didn't even cover like.
No, there's so
half of the
much
stuff that happens.
If we wanted to, we could make this an hour. But I know you guys won't watch it.
Probably 2 hours if we covered everything.
But we know you guys won't watch that. Don't waste 2 hours on us. Waste 2 hours watching the other show.
Exactly. That's like 4 or 5
There's
episodes.
it. Yeah, man. Go have fun with that.
Let's talk about our ratings and stuff now.
Let's do that.
All right, so let's get to the ratings. Let's start with representation.
For representation, we give it.
I'm giving it a 4.
We give it a 5.
We give it a 5. Okay.
Representation. Dude, the diversity in that show is insane.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about sexuality wise, but like just things well done.
Yeah.
4? How do you give it a 4? I need to hear you.
The show itself, definitely very diverse. I'm talking in terms of like queer representation. Yes, we do have Vi and Caitlyn as a couple, but I do feel like their dynamic is one that we've seen very often. Like we have like the one that's more butch, the one I wouldn't say Caitlyn's more femme, but I feel like their dynamic is very familiar. Not saying that's like a bad thing, but I feel like maybe we could have had a little bit more queer representation. I know we have them. We have that one character.
We have Lest.
We have Lest, who is a trans character. Maybe we could have had a little bit more. Again, not necessary to the plot. I really like that we at least had Kate and Vi like heavily as main characters. But again, I feel like there could have been a little bit more room.
Our next one is queer comfort.
For a queer comfort, I think I'm gonna give it a 4.8.
I was gonna say I give it a 4.5.
Oh.
Here's the deal. This show, is it that comforting?
There's a lot that happens that I would say isn't that comforting. But
It's
I
my
know
comfort show. Like, which one?
what happened that made you comforting. Like
Somebody I saw a clip where it's like Arcane's happiest moments. It was like 12 seconds.
hell no.
Okay, but I mean, I think it's like in the sense of like, would you watch this like in the background or something, or would you like?
I think it's definitely very rewatchable when it's like, oh, like maybe I'm having a bad day or something. Like,
Let's make it worse.
Let's make it worse.
Put on episode
No.
6.
I feel like it's definitely a show that a lot of people did gravitate towards. Like, as soon as I started getting into the show, I just started seeing like so many memes and stuff everywhere. Thank you, algorithm. But yeah, I think it's a show that a lot of people gravitate towards. Next up is writing.
I don't even got to think about it. And for writing, we give it a no-brainer of 5.
5. Yep, definitely. Like, like I said, this is one of those shows where there's multiple storylines going on, and a lot of shows can't really handle that, and you kind of get confused. You don't really care about all the
Or
characters as much as others.
or sometimes the plot would just get forgotten for some of them and be like, oh yeah, we forgot about them. But no, they managed to make it all work together in its own way. Like, you know, we thought Heimdinger and Echo were not going to meet, but then they meet and we're like, oh my god, you know, two smart people are going to like meet. I thought that was cool to see.
And just like bringing characters back from season 1 that you just like were like, okay, like they're gone, they're done for. Like specifically Vander.
We got the alt.
Vander got
Vander.
the Ned Stark treatment in the first season. Like he becomes like that character. Like wow, like I really like this character. He's great. He's probably gonna be.
But
like,
he came back.
Yeah.
As a fucking hulking werewolf beast.
Yeah, that was really cool, but very tragic.
It was, but I did love that scene where he saves Jinx. The last minute is like, "Don't touch my daughter." Like,
yeah. Oh, that was cool. I love that. Well,
next up, overall.
And for our overall score for Arcane, we give it a.
I give it a 5.
I give it a 4.9.
Oh, you little nerd. Why'd the 0.1?
I would only say because in season 1, I wasn't as captivated the entire season as I was in season 2. Like season 2, oh my god, I was like locked in. But there were parts of season 1 where I was like, okay, that's awesome. But then like I started like it was kind of like a wavering thing of like having my attention. But season 2 was fantastic, and I feel like that's what we're mainly talking about today. So that's why I give it a 4.9.
When I first saw it initially, I knew a bit about League of Legends, and I remember I was into the trailers a lot. I did like the trailers because you know, never did touch the game. But I remember playing. I remember just watching the trailers, and I know a friend of mine that was into it, and I was like, okay, cool. And when they dropped the trailer for this, I'm like, yo, I don't play this game, but I watched the hell out of this show. And I'm glad I did, because it was such an amazing show. And just to remind y'all, this is Ella Purnell's second video game adaptation show, which has gotten nominations, I believe.
And they're very well deserved.
So, in other words, if you want a good adaptation TV show, just cast Ella Purnell and you're good.
Alright, so let's get to our QPR total. Without a surprise, Arcane gets a 95.5, which is a gay plus.
It is a gay plus.
Yeah.
Arcane.
I don't think we need to say anything further. Like, Arcane was amazing. Like,
I think it's so amazing. You know what? Let's go check out the game League of Legends. I think it might be worth it.
We should. Oh my god, Bruce, let's go play it right now. I'm gonna download it.
All right, let's go. Oh god.
Why did we do that?
Well, I think it's better to just stick with the trailers, animation clips, whatever.
Yeah, like
honestly, just rewatch Arcane. It's not worth it, gang.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. So like, thank
Don't
you
believe
guys
that.
so much for watching.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna delete this whole thing now.
Yeah, I'm gonna uninstall it later. But anyway, check down below for links in our bio to our social media as well as our Ko-Fi. Please donate to QPR so we can, you know, maybe one day Bruce and I will be in the same room recording this again someday.
Yeah, the room I'm in is actually not my room.
Subscribe, comment below what you think of Arcane. Like, let us know your favorite scene, your favorite character, and let us know what we should review next.
And please comment about that question I had before. Which was gayer? Episode 8 scene or the finale between Jace and Victor? I need to know what your opinions are.
I think I know my answer.
Oh, I know you did.
It's
Let me just say this finale wise. All of social media, everybody had a scientific analysis of that fucking scene. It is hilarious. Everybody made 4K GIFs of each of the scenes. The whole entire sequence. Like, it was like the biggest thing everybody talked about.
I'm gonna make it my wallpaper soon.
Insane. All right.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.